welcome to another masterclass with the Modern Conducting Academy. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Normandy, and we are here tonight with an icon in our field, Dr. Timothy Sharp. He was the former executive director of the American Choral Directors Association. He is a world advocate for teachers, students, community organizations, universities. He has traveled the world sharing his knowledge, and he is here tonight talking about concepts from his book that he authored. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Sharp.
Thanks, Jacqueline. It's so great to be with you. I want to tell you, first of all, that I admire what you have put together in this catalog of masterclasses. It's a testimony to you, your faculty that you've acquired. And I know that our participants tonight will want to know, if they don't know already, that I'm a part of a continuum here. I'm one subject that you've curated with other folks that are going to amplify the same kind of topics specifically related to conducting. And I love that what you've done has become a magnet to bring us to another resource for this area. I have a view, and I want to tell you right from the beginning that my view comes from really systematic thinking. I watch literally hundreds of conductors over the last 15 years of ACDA work. I've watched them. I've seen the best of the best. I've seen them from the United States. I've seen them from all around the world. And I'm constantly looking at and trying to figure out, what's the secret of your success? Why are you so good? And that's been my question over and over again. And when I listen to conversations about who do we want to have at the next conference, or who do we want to have presenting this to our young people in our honor choirs, I'm listening to why they want those people and what is it that they do. So what I'm going to present tonight is sort of a systematic approach to this area of gesture, and what I see as the most important elements, basic, most important elements. And I'll also say to you, I work with a group of undergraduates on a weekly basis. Tomorrow, I will see 15 undergraduate conducting students. And so the things that I'm going to be saying are not only tempered by the world's best observations, but also young people who are moving into conducting, and even bivocational conductors who are working, who had some really good music training but didn't know that they were going to be conductors. And in later life, I'm working with them to try to say, these are the essential elements. This is what you really must project. So it's a tempered between best practices and what I think are the essential systematic elements that lead to precision conducting. And that's what we're after. We're after the best gesture that elicits the best response from our performers. So what I'd like to do is share from you in 1 hour what I have written in 2 conducting textbooks. I'm going to give you the real take-homes from those 2 books. The truth is, if you listen to what I have to say tonight, you don't need these textbooks because what I have to say, and I, as a matter of show and tell, Jacqueline, I thought about just stacking all the conducting textbooks that I have in my library here on my desk so that I could say, look, I've read every one of those, and I've tried to distill the most important aspects of that into what I'm going to say tonight. And those books are actually sitting right over here. These are wonderful books. These are books that I have built my own career kind of on, but I also wanted to say it can be said in a simpler and a more concise way. So that's what I'm going to try to say tonight, is what is the essence of these, what I've said. Now, this is Tim Sharp now. What are the 7 disciplines of conducting? 7 is not a magic word here. This is not Robert Shaw or Margaret Hillis or Maurice Green or any of these are my 7 distilled ideas of what precision conducting is all about. To that end, let me share my screen and walk through the PowerPoint for the evening. And let me just ask Jacqueline and everyone, am I on screen? Good, very good. So the let me say first that I think we would agree that conducting is a language, and as such, it must be driven by a common set of rules if it is to be understood. I have seen people try to invent their own language of conducting. I've observed of those hundreds of conductors that I'm talking about, I've seen some that want to reinvent universal gesture. And I'll be the first to say that if you're working with one group all the time and you have ownership of them and they see no one else, certainly up can be down, down can be up, left can be right, right can be left. You can redefine gesture, but what I am working toward is universal gesture. I want to be able to get off an airplane in Japan and walk into a rehearsal and be understood as clearly in one spot as I am on the other side of the planet. So I'm dealing with universal gesture here, and that's what I'm going to try to be walking through tonight. Secondly, conducting is a gestural language. It communicates within a non-verbal context. We really cannot stop in the middle of a rehearsal or a performance and throw out verbal cues that override what we're trying to do with our hands, our eyes, and our arms. I mean, you can in a rehearsal, certainly, but in a performance, oh my goodness, can you imagine anyone stopping and shouting out a cue? I have never seen anyone do that. So we're dealing with a non-verbal context in our gestural work. Thirdly, gestural conducting is the act of visually preparing and cueing the next musical sound that is to be performed by an ensemble. I think this is the difference between conducting and dancing. If I'm dancing in the moment. I'm dancing at the particular beat that's happening. I'm dancing in the mood that I'm in at that very moment. But when I'm conducting, I am preparing for that next moment. And I think this is something that has to be grasped by those of us that are conductors, is that we are actually always an instant ahead of what is really going on in the moment. Certainly we're in the moment. I mean, my beat should be happening in the moment, but my preparation, the gesture of preparation that I'm giving has got to be inspiring the next moment. And one of the things that I'm doing often with my undergraduate conductors is getting them into the head, into the thinking zone that they are preparing the next moment. They're not just in the moment, but they're preparing the next moment. So gestural conducting, the act of visually preparing and cueing the next musical sound that is to be performed by an ensemble.